Hi everyone, today I want to build a tool to bake up my database. Now, my setup currently looks like this. So I do have a server. Um, I also, so in this server, I have an Node.js application, I have a database, and these two talk to each other. They're in the same database, they're in the same server. And then the main issue with these is that nothing is public. I have set up through Cloudflare tunnels. Um, so the Node.js server is connected to the tunnel, and that's how I made my application public. But the database is totally inaccessible to anything that is not in the server. The Node.js and the database run in Docker containers. Um, So yeah, this is my current setup. And I want to find a way to wake up this database. Now I could run some kind of script or um, cron job on the server. Um, but I like UIs. I like to see stuff in a web UI. So I didn't really like that. I found these. Simple Backup. They allow to bake up pretty much anything, including Postgres SQL databases. Uh, so there are two issues with these. First issue is that I would still need to make the database public, or they also offer an SSH option, so I would need to give to open the SSH port, which is fine, I guess. But I still prefer keeping these totally isolated and open these only through the Cloudflare tunnel. I think that's safer. And the second problem was this $50 per month, which is actually totally reasonable for what you get. But also I don't want to pay $50 per month. So I'm gonna pay the financially, like the decision that financially doesn't make sense because I'm gonna spend so much time building these that it was just worth spending $50. But I'm gonna do it anyway because I think it's fun. So um, also I want to use a kind of like different architecture than these. And I will show you what I want to do. So as we said in the server, we have the Node.js application and then the database. Now I want to find a way to generate the backup of the database from the Node.js server itself, or maybe actually we can even have another Docker container with a backup um, container. So this will be connected to the database and then run backups. As you can see, I still haven't made a decision on how it will look like. So I just had this idea because I wanted to solve this problem because I recently migrated the database to the server. Before it was in a database as a service um, service, so that they were handling the backup. But now that I have the database here, I need to do that. So this is one option. What I wanted to do, which I think it will be a little bit easier, more simple, is to, so this will be the alternative to, is to, in the Node.js app, I can have like a daemon. And then, and this will be just a job that runs in the background. So when you start the Node.js application, every now and then, this job is called, and this handles all the backup of the database part. So this is the part that is gonna be on the server. We can also support edge functions. So instead of having the daemon running in the background, we can just call some kind of method of this is gonna be a package like an npm package, so we can just call the method there to run the backup on ad hoc when we want. So the second part to these will be the backup service, and this is a totally separate application. These will also have a backend. It's probably gonna be Node.js or Go or whatever. We're gonna need a database as well, and then we're gonna save the backups in a bucket, file storage bucket. So what happens is the daemon is gonna call the backend. The backend will provide a file, a bucket URL, and then the daemon will also toss the file in the bucket. And then the backend is also gonna save the information about the backup in the database. I think this is reasonable architecture. And so the idea with this, so okay, this is a little bit over-engineered. I understand that, because like in theory, the daemon can just do all of these instead of having a separate service. But my idea here is to use the backup service for other databases as well. So I want to have a unified service application for all my database instances, because I also have others. And so this way, and maybe who knows, maybe even make it a software as a service for anyone else who wants to use it. Because in theory, you can also bring your own storage bucket and then just use my service as a way to handle that logic. So I like this architecture. Now the daemon, so we said um, that the daemon is gonna run in the background. So I think we have two options here. So the first case is we have the server running. So the first is we have edge functions, or like Lambda functions. So in this case, we cannot start a background job because that's not how Lambda functions work. So what we have to do is, so the server, so the application that wants to uh, create the backup, we'll have to, so first of all, we will have to, I'm gonna write some pseudocode, uh, new backup. I still don't know what's the name of this project, but we'll find out pretty soon. And then, um, we can kind of create a new endpoint. So let's say we have an endpoint that is backup, and what this does is it just calls backup dot, I don't know, backup. uh, Call this backup client. So this way we just run the backup, and then you can just call the slash backup endpoint on your server to do the backup, and you can do that with a cron job or whatever. It's up to you. Now the second case is we have a server running like the standard way of doing this forever and ever. So in this case, we will still create a backup client, and then I think we can just do something like start, and then the start function creates this background job based on parameters, or maybe even based on parameters that you can set from here, from the backup server, because this will also have a web UI. So maybe in the web UI, you can specify how often you want to backup, and then these client reads that values. Yeah, I think this is a good approach, actually. So right now I like this. 90% we're gonna change this pretty dramatically. But I think this is what I'd like to start with and then see if there are better options or better alternatives. Okay, so yeah, this is the first um, time that I'm building something in public. So we'll see how it goes. I don't even know how to do edits if I wanna just uh, write code live or just show periodically what are the updates. I think building live it's kind of boring, so maybe I'll do the second. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this architecture. I kind of like it.